Hello, in today's revelation, I will be discussing plasma. There is blood plasma and there is solar plasma. So, this portion of the Bible really stood out for me when I read it recently. And as you know, everything in the Bible has more than just the face value meaning. You have to seek and look deeper into the meaning. It's like a Christmas present. You know, you can't just look at the wrapping. You have to open the present and see what's inside. The wrapping is very pretty, but the real gift is deeper. You have to do some work. You have to open the gift, open the box, and then we have the gift, which is knowledge. So in John chapter 19, verse 34, it says, "Instead, one of the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and immediately blood and water flowed out." So this is when Yeshua was crucified, and the soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and blood and water flowed out. So I was wondering what exactly was the hidden meaning here, and what I discovered was pretty interesting. So just looking at the four states of matter, we have solid, liquid, gas, and plasma. So plasma is obtained, which plasma is in the blood as well. Plasma is obtained by adding heat. So in the blood, 55% of blood is plasma, 90% is water. Then we have waste products, nutrients and hormones at 2%, proteins at 8%. So blood and water, here we go. This is what was coming out of Jesus' side. So plasma is the straw-colored liquid portion of the blood comprised of water, salts, and proteins. 55% of the total blood volume is plasma. Due to its unique biological composition, it cannot be prepared synthetically. So what I was looking at after that is, all right, we're going to see plasma comes from the sun, and I don't know why it blanked out. There we go. Okay, so yes, a significant portion of the plasma in our solar system originates from the sun. Specifically, the sun is composed of plasma, which is a superheated ionized gas. This plasma is so energetic that some of its particles, called the solar wind, escape the sun's gravity and travel through space, eventually reaching Earth and beyond. And a more detailed explanation, the sun as a plasma source. The sun's core is a nuclear fusion reactor, and the extreme heat and pressure there cause atoms to ionize, meaning electrons are stripped away, creating a plasma. Then we have the solar wind. The sun's magnetic field generated by the movement of this plasma is constantly pushing and shaping the plasma. Some of the plasma is ejected from the sun's surface at high speeds, forming the solar wind. Plasma is often considered the fourth state of matter. It's a gas that has been heated to such high temperatures that the electrons are stripped from their atoms, creating a mixture of ions and free electrons. The sun's plasma is primarily composed of hydrogen and helium ions along with free electrons. The solar wind composed of this plasma interacts with planets and other objects in the solar system, influencing their magnetic fields and atmospheres. So as we're also aware, as the sun is having these CMEs, the solar flares are interacting with us as well. And my belief is that it is ultimately going to upgrade our DNA, and that's where New Jerusalem is. That's why we have this verse here. In an instant, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, for the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and we will be changed. So in the blink of an eye, we will be changed. So you can think of it as the sun, the plasma is interacting with us, and our DNA, it's going to upgrade that DNA. And this is part of the Messiah's work that is to be done, and that is to set us free, to finish what Moses came to do. So the Son is S-U-N-S-O-N, and you can also see the similarities, the parallels in the spear going into the Son of Man also being like the sun ejecting the plasma. So that's what I was thinking of. And then in the Bible, John 6, 46 through 51, Jesus was telling his disciples, not that anyone has seen the Father except he who is from God. He has seen the Father. Most assuredly, I say to you, he who believes in me has everlasting life. I am the bread of life. Your fathers ate the manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which comes down from heaven. So we're talking about plasma coming from heaven here, from the sun, from Jesus. Now, so this is the bread which comes down from heaven, that one may eat of it and not die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever. And the bread that I shall give is my flesh, which I shall give for the life of the world. And really, truly, that is the ultimate sacrifice. Then also here in the Gospel of Thomas, Jesus says, I have cast fire upon the world, and see, I am guarding it until it blazes. So we know we've had all these solar flares and the aurora borealis happening, and it's just been strange, to say the least. Miracles, just amazing. And we know that the second death comes by fire. So if you see here, to get to the fourth state of matter, plasma, ionized gas, we have to add heat. So then I was also thinking of the word ion itself, and it dawned on me, you know, the daughter of Zion. So it's like a lot of the Bible is metaphorically speaking. So we have Zion, right? Ion, Zion. So what I was thinking about Zion, and just going with what I pulled up here, just the concept of Zion in the Bible is multifaceted, with both historical and eschatological end time significance. While it is certainly referenced in connection with future events, it's not necessarily saved for last in a way that implies it's exclusively relevant at the end of time. So historically and present significance. Initially, Zion referred to a fortress in Jerusalem that King David captured, making it his city, City of David, and the capital of Israel. It became synonymous with Jerusalem. Particularly, the Temple Mount and served as the center of Israel's worship and God's dwelling place among his people. The Psalms often depict Zion as a place of joy, worship, and God's presence. Eschatological end time significance. So prophets like Isaiah and Micah envision Zion as the ultimate hope for Israel and a place of redemption and divine rule in the future. They predict a time when God's kingdom will be fully realized and nations will stream to Zion for divine instruction and peace. So this is the Mashiach finishing what he started, and then we saw, he died on the cross, then they put a spear in his side, and out came plasma and blood, water and blood. So that lets me know that the fourth state of matter is going to play an important role in New Jerusalem. And so they predict a time when God's kingdom will be fully realized and nations will stream to Zion for divine instruction and peace. The New Testament expands on Zion's significance, portraying it as the heavenly Jerusalem, a spiritual city where believers gather with angels and God. And in Revelation 14:1 describes the Lamb standing on Mount Zion with the 144,000, signifying a culmination of God's redemptive plan and the ultimate triumph of God's people. And also, what dawned on me was we have Zion, so Z-ion is what stood out to me. And we all know that the alphabet has, not the Hebrew alphabet, the Greek alphabet has 26 letters, and Z being the last letter, number 26. So we have Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. So Z is 26. And we know that in Hebrew, the number 26 represents the numerical value of God's name, Yod He Vav He, and is also known as the Tetragrammaton. So the beginning and the end, here we have He was, He is, He shall be, eternity. So this is pretty exciting for me to have that revelation. And now I want to take you to this website here. There's an excellent video that I watched earlier today, and it brought me so much hope for the future. And I really believe that this is God revealing, what's going to happen next. So again, we have the states of matter, solid, liquid, gas, plasma, and we're focusing on plasma, right? The fourth state of matter is what popped out at me today. So I'm just scrolling here, and here's a nice little diagram of plasma. So it's can be found in a magnetic fusion reactor, inertial confinement fusion. So this is like energetic, wave of the future type of stuff here. Lightning, solar corona, nebulas, solar wind, interstellar space, auroras, flames, neon signs, ultra cold neutral plasma. So these are all different forms that we can physically see plasma. And we see here that we already discussed plasma is another state of matter. Plasma is superheated matter. Stars are superheated balls of plasma. So again, we have lightning, solar wind, auroras, fluorescent light, and nuclear fireballs. And this is the video I wanted you all to watch. Pardon me.
Static electricity causes a spark of light. What is that spark? What about lightning, the northern lights, or the tail of a comet? All of those things and many others, in fact 99.9% of the universe, are made of plasma. Plasma is a state of matter, drastically different from the more familiar forms. Take ice, for example. Ice, a solid, melts to become water, a liquid, which, when heated, vaporizes into steam, a gas. Continued heating of the steam at a high enough temperature causes the water molecules in it to separate into freely roaming hydrogen and oxygen atoms. With a little more heat, the ionization process occurs, and the negatively charged electrons escape the atoms, leaving behind positively charged ions. This mixture of freely roaming negative and positive charges is plasma, and at a high enough temperature, any gas can be made into one. These freely moving charged particles behave very differently from the particles in other types of matter. When a doorknob, a solid, has static electricity on it, it doesn't look or behave any differently. And with the exception of a compass or other magnetic object, we rarely see matter respond to a magnetic field. But put a plasma in an electric field or magnetic field, and you'll get a very different reaction. Because plasmas are charged, electric fields accelerate them, and magnetic fields steer them in circular orbits. And when the particles within a plasma collide, or are accelerated by electricity or magnetism, light is generated, which is what we see when we look at plasmas like the aurora borealis. Plasmas aren't just beautiful celestial phenomena, though. Imagine a tiny cube made of normal gas with a very high voltage across it. The resulting electric field pushes some of the electrons off the atoms and accelerates them to high speeds, causing the ionization of other atoms. Embedded impurities in the tiny cube of gas cause it to gain and release a precise amount of energy in the form of ultraviolet radiation. Attached to each tiny cube, a fluorescent material glows with a specific color when ultraviolet light at just the right intensity reaches it. Now, make a rectangle out of 1,000,000 of these tiny cubes, each separately controlled by sophisticated electronics. You may be looking at one now. This is called a plasma TV. Plasmas also have implications for healthcare. Plasma chemists create highly specific plasmas that can destroy or alter targeted chemicals, thereby killing pathogenic organisms on food or hospital surfaces. Plasmas are all around us, in forms that are both spectacular and practical. And in the future, plasma could be used to permanently rid landfills of their waste, efficiently remove toxins from our air and water, and provide us with a potentially unlimited supply of renewable, clean energy.
So I got really excited after watching that video with the future prospects of what we can and I believe we will do with plasma. It'll be an unlimited source of energy. It can help clean up all the pollution in our environment, and it's so cool because when I looked at what blood plasma does, blood plasma's primary function is to act as a transport medium carrying blood cells, nutrients, waste products, hormones, and clotting proteins throughout the body. So plasma collects waste products from cellular activity and transports them to the kidneys, liver, and skin for removal from the body. So we do live, like Earth is an organism that acts just like our body. You know, everything it's like the macro and the micro relationship. So if the plasma does that in our blood, then certainly the plasma in our atmosphere can do the same. We just need to figure that out, and of course we need God to do that. It's definitely something that I believe Jesus, the Messiah, was trying to tell us in the Bible, when he was speared in the side and out came blood and water. So it was a foreshadowing of what is going to be in the future. And the revelation I received today was that it has to do with plasma energy, or the fourth state of matter, which is plasma. And that God is always sacrificing for us and telling us, bring us to the promised land, New Jerusalem. And I believe that, yes, plasma is going to definitely be a big part of that. And I am so blessed that I was able to receive this revelation. I hope that it blesses you as well. All glory to God, and amen.